This podcast of the 2024 TotalSports Two Oceans Marathon was brought to you by TotalSports, the official sponsors of the 2024 TotalSports Two Oceans Marathon. Hello, everybody. Today on the TotalSports Two Oceans Marathon podcast, we're talking to Irvette van Zyl. Irvette, welcome to the program. Nice to chat to you again.
Hello. Yes, thanks for having me.
First of all, how are you? Are you well? Are you fit? Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm well and fit and almost ready to go. It's less than 4 weeks now, so yeah, still hard training, but looking forward to the tapering week. But yeah, it's going way better than last year this time, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, let's remind everybody, disappointing last year, but this year you say you're almost at the point of reaching peak performance and fitness for the race?
I hope so. I've tried my best to incorporate like the route and how difficult it is into my training, that it feels a bit easier on race day, and that I can keep up with Karpas because she's been dominating the oceans for years now. So it's juggling the act to just be my best on the day. So now the countdown and then taper week, and then it's ready to go. So I'm really excited to be part of the Oceans this year and be part of the race.
So the TotalSports Two Oceans Marathon, ultra marathon, 56 kilometers, almost one of a kind, if I may say, in terms of the beauty, in terms of the course. How do you train for a race like that if you don't live where the race is taking place?
Yeah, I think if you have run the course before, you know what type of hills are coming and how the course elevation works. So that makes quite a huge difference in your training if you know what's coming, that you can prepare for it. And it's not that difficult. I don't like training on the route. I've never trained on the routes that I've ran before. And it's really actually difficult to go train on the routes that you're racing, because most of the important races isn't in your own city. So, but it's been, I know what type of hills I had to train, and I know what type of speed sessions I had to do, because the Oceans is both with speed and hills combined. And it's just combining those two elements and just trying to make it work and be the best that I can be on race day, and have that same feel that you kind of get into the race, that your legs are feeling, just to mentally prepare yourself. Okay, your legs are going to feel like that from that stage of the race, and it's okay because that's normal. Everyone feels like that. Just to adapt the body to handle it better and be better on the race, so that you can maintain still a fast pace while dying, basically.
and things like altitude, coming down to sea level, does that make much of a difference?
I believe so. I think if you always train at altitude, going to sea level makes a difference. I think it's quite hard if you're training at sea level and you actually there where the race is, just racing it then, because it's actually just part of your normal daily life. For me, it's quite exciting going down to Cape Town. It's a trip down and it's a beautiful city. I don't get to see it often, so it's more exciting, I think, coming down from Pretoria to Cape Town. So it's definitely something exciting to look forward to and just be part of action. And it's quite hard last year. Like, I was part of the action, but not part of the action.
Yeah.
So that was really hard, being there and just being at the start line, seeing everyone like at the best, and I'm just feeling vulnerable and can't be part of the great race. So just being this year, seeing that everything is going better and that I'm just almost there. So it's just been I'm just feeling grateful and just taking nothing for granted, and excited to just be part of the day.
So how long do you come to Cape Town before the race starts, for example? I mean, you've obviously been training up in Pretoria at high altitude, almost the highest altitude in the world, bar Mexico City. And then to come down to Cape Town, does it take a while to acclimatize, or are you similar to like the rugby players who would fly into Johannesburg, even if they're playing in Durban, and then just on the morning of a game leave, play, and then fly straight back so the altitude doesn't affect them, or the drop in altitude doesn't affect them?
The whole thing is coming into on Thursday. We're flying in and we're racing on Saturday. So 2 days is more than enough. And then we're flying back the next day. Yeah, it's just, I like flying in and out because I've got children, so that's the usual in, who's going to babysit them. So yeah, it's just, for me, it's important to see the whole picture. Want to have my full attention at the race, but I don't want to be there too soon because stress builds up if you get too close to the race. So it's better to be in your own comfort zone at home and just flying to the race, not so long before the time, race, get the job done and then fly back. So I prefer it that way. Other athletes probably prefer it differently, but for me that works. I think it's from athlete to athlete, it will like differ, but for me that works. So yeah, and it doesn't make, for me, I don't need to acclimatize. It's sea level. So it's already, my lungs are already thanking me because they have more oxygen. So I think if you're maybe coming from sea level and competing like at altitude, you need a more time to just adapt to that your lungs can not blow and just because they don't have that much oxygen. But I think when I'm coming down to Cape Town, it's a bit different. You actually going to be better already when you land there. So it's okay.
So how many kilometers are you doing at the moment a week, would you say, in terms of your training? Are you still really pushing it, or are you starting to slow down now as you get closer to the race?
I'm still pushing it, so I'll be pushing it still for about 10 days still, and then it will go down a bit. But I'm not a high mileage athlete, so I've learned out of my injuries. My body can't handle it, so I had to adapt to cross training and other alternatives to make up for training. So yeah, it's high mileage for me, but I think in terms of what other athletes do, it's maybe low mileage. So, but I'll definitely take off the cross training a closer we get to the race. But yeah, it's quite intense right now. Legs are quite tired. I'm quite tired, but but at least the school holidays has started. So I'm really happy that that will just be a bit easier now. I'm not driving my kids around 24/7. So that's going to be a great part of my resting phase now, that I can get some more sleep and not spend so much time in the car driving.
So tell me what it's like being a top athlete and trying to balance it with being a mom as well. How difficult is it really?
So I think when they were a little bit tinier, when they were still babies and toddlers, it was actually easier. And now as they get older, it gets quite harder to juggle because now they have their own sports and activities that you have to be at. So me and Elsa is like a relay team. We tag each other when one has to do that, the other one has to do that, especially in the evenings. The one has like from 5 to 6 rugby. And that's usually the time that I need to go gym. So yeah, then Elsa helps me out with that time slot. I just have that extra time that I don't need to train after 8. But yeah, some days it's quite tough because if I don't get all the training done in the day, I have to train after 8 again. So that's the time when they're already in bed, and then I have the time, an hour to myself to catch up with something that I didn't do in the day. Like if I didn't cycle in the day or I didn't gym during the day, I can do that at that time. So yeah, it's been definitely this year has been more tough of all the other years because both of them are now the age that they both have afternoon activities at different times. So it's not even at the same time. So yeah, that has been hard, and I think I'm not getting that much sleep in that I think the athletes should, but I'm making the best of it, and I wouldn't change it for anything. I love being a mom, and I love being there for them, and I love it that I have the flexibility that I can be there for them. I think there's not a lot of jobs that you can do that you can still be there after children and make it work. So yeah, I'm still really blessed to be able to do it. And like I said, I won't change it.
I think we just need to remind people that your husband is LJ van Zyl, the South African hurdler. So the fact that the two of you are most probably so super fit compared to your kids, unlike other parents who can get so tired from running after their kids, I guess it's the other way around for the two of you. Are either of them showing any interest in athletics? I know they're still young, but can you see any talent there?
The youngster, he really likes running, but I think he takes after his dad. He's got some fast twitch muscles and he loves the hurdle, so he likes jumping over stuff. And yeah, but the older one, he's more into like drama. He likes drama, and he likes the rugby now. So yeah, he's a bit different. But we don't force it on them. We just want them to compete at it and see just all sports what they love and to decide for them what they like, because that's the most important. They must like it. So if they don't end up in athletics, it's fine. It's as long as they enjoy the sport. But I want them like with my running, I show them every day, even if I'm tired, I will go out and train. It's like hard work. It's the only way to reach your goals is through hard work. So I want to out there as well set the example for them that hard work pays off. So we don't tolerate actually that they slack. If they want to do something, they have to do it 100%. Otherwise, they have to find something else. If they don't love it, you can't commit if you don't love it. So that's the principle that we go by.
And I guess that's something that you've gone with all your life. I mean, to take the time that you do to train, to come back after all the injuries that you've unfortunately had in your career, if you didn't have an incredible love for the sport, you wouldn't still be doing it, would you?
Yes, I think that is always that brings me back. Last at a breaking point that I thought, okay, this is it. I'm not coming back after this injury because it was so slow healing and it was just a difficult time that you were so uncertain about what is going to happen. That love for the sport always brings me back. And I know even if when the going gets tough in training, it's that switch that you have. It's that you just have that passion for the sport and you just like conquer through it. So yeah, it's definitely, even when I coach with the school, I always ask them, do they like it? They have to do it because they like it, because otherwise you won't get far, because if your mother or your father wants you to do it, you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself. So if you can't do it for yourself, you have to find the other passion. So it's definitely the passion that kept me going through all the years and all the horrific injuries I've had. But yeah, I'm very thankful for my husband that always encourages me in the low times to just stick it through and just control what I can control. Yeah, and that's my mindset and how my mind is taking. If I get a injury, how I like just go through it. It's how you look at it and just be positive. You can't take everything. It's negative, but if you stay negative about it, you're not going to come anywhere. You have to look at the positives. Even if you have the worst injury, there's always a positive to look at.
So besides the love that we've spoken about now, what was it that clicked that switch after that horrific injury that almost ended your career last year that made you decide, okay, I've got to come back? Was it maybe at the start line of the TotalSports 2 Oceans Marathon last year where you sort of thought to yourself, no, I want to do this again?
It was definitely not just the start line. I was standing at the finish line, and when this runner came to give more and he broke the tape, just that gutted feeling in my heart, I knew, yeah, I had to come back. I had to make this work, even if it took me maybe 2 to 3 years to come back. I had to make it work. So yeah, it's definitely being at the finish line and not being able to cross the finish line and being on the other side. That was the ultimate switch that I knew I had to make a comeback again.
Did you at some time think it was going to take up to 2 to 3 years for you to get back to the level that you hopefully are at coming into the TotalSports 2 Oceans Marathon in 2024?
Yeah, I hope it wouldn't take so long, but I had a lot of scans done, and every scan that I did, it was like, oh, the stress fracture is not healed yet. And it was really weird because my injury doesn't take usually that long to heal. So I'm usually quite fast in making a comeback. So just mentally, I think it was so draining that I didn't think it's going to heal up. And although I tried my best to stay positive, still keeping up with the cross training, it was just like daunting to have the fact that there were so many uncertainties around this injury, and my other option was surgery, and I didn't want the surgery done on my foot. So, and the doctor warned me, he told me that he doesn't know how long it's going to take. If I do the surgery, it would take 3 months to heal, but if I don't do the surgery, yeah, I'm going to wait it out. So really in doubt if I made the right decision not to have the surgery, but then when I started walking and running again, yeah, I knew I will be back, but I didn't know how long it would take. But yeah, the fitness really was not at a great level, being like almost 6 months out of running and just cross training for that period. It was not the most ideal coming back to fitness. So that took quite a while. And having that extreme stress fracture that I had, oh, it was really slow progress coming back. It has to be like, you can't increase more than 10%. And then some weeks you can't even increase the mileage. You just had to stay and just increase the cross training. So the climb to what I ended up with last year in December was really slow. So yeah, I was just really thankful for when November hit. I was under a different type of like fitness level that I could compete again and feel like myself again, but it took quite some time.
Yeah, but you must have been extremely disciplined, though, because, I mean, for somebody like yourself who has previously held the world record, for 50 kilometers and had some amazing results in your career, to actually hold back must have been very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely, because some days you feel really good and you feel like, okay, I'm going to take the foot now and just like go above what I should. But yeah, I couldn't. It's like, I rather saw tomorrow's another day to train, and I'd rather stay consistent and maybe take a rest day as well, just to give my foot that break that it needs. Although I didn't feel like it needed it, I just was so scared that it would come back, because the doctor also told me if it would come back, you have to do the surgery immediately, because that just says the foot won't hold up. So, and there's always coming back from the stress fracture, you have that phantom pains that you're really unsure if it's like the pain that's coming back, or it's just like the old pain, just like reminding you it's still there, but it's gone. So, yeah, it's a lot of mind games going on in your head. So you're running the whole time actually scared through that period of time coming back from an injury, because you're so scared of re-injuring yourself and just like get the I told you so again. But yeah.
How long did it take for you to get the confidence to push yourself? Because, I mean, I know, like, when you sprain your ankle or break a leg, or you obviously in your case have been injured so many times, you kind of are almost scared to put all the pressure on that ankle that you've hurt or on the muscle that you've pulled. How difficult is that?
Yeah, I've learned quite a lot in 2020 when I had a knee surgery done. That was one of my biggest knee surgeries I've done. And that took me also 6 months out of running. So, and that I also had the doctor telling me that I had to be really slow in progress. Otherwise the surgery is just going to have, failed, because, it's also important if you come back from an injury, the rehab of it. You're doing more rehab than you're actually training. And the rehab exercises feel so stupid to do, because it's really small. It's not weight related. It's like small kind of exercises with elastic bands and stuff. You're frustrated the whole time, but you're working in the bigger picture. So just staying consistent was the key for me. And if I can't do that much mileage, I made it up on the bike or in the pool. And I was still running, and I was swimming, and I was cycling. But now, like, I always enjoyed the swimming a lot of laps and so on. But last year I was injured for so long. Yeah, it's really hard for me getting back into the pool again, because I just feel like I broke myself last year in the pool, because I was so frustrated. On a stage, it was the only thing I could do with my foot is swim, and I couldn't even kick off on the side. So I just, this year, a break, and told myself I would only do like cross training that I really enjoyed, because you also, if you're training so hard, it's not on the road. The road, I always enjoy pushing myself, but cross training is a bit different. Yeah, it's not that exciting, because your scenery stays the same. Yeah, but just staying motivated through all of it, I think it's the key. It's like set yourself a bar. It was, when I was in April last year and I couldn't run Oceans, I thought to myself, like, I have to get a goal, because otherwise it's going to not work for me to come back. Because if you don't have that motivation just to put on your shoes, and like the day that you can't push yourself, you have to take it easy, have a bigger picture. Like the Western Marathon was my bigger picture in November, and I know it gave me enough time to prepare for it and be fit enough that I can possibly be myself again and race like I'm used to. So that gave me a lot of motivation to every day, just like, if I want to push and not that time to push yet, just to take it down a step. And then the next day I know, okay, today I can push. But just to navigate yourself through and have some goal that okay, you're working towards that, you're making small gains, and it's accomplishable.
So tell me something. I mean, you obviously can't run competitively forever, and you are obviously extremely goal driven. What are your realistic goals going to be when, you reach an age where you can only run as a participant, not as a potential winner?
Then I'll change sports, I think. My backup plan is I want to do Ironman.
Lawn bowls.
So if I change to Ironman, nobody will like set a bar, because I've never done it. So I just feel I don't want to stay in the sport when I retire. Yeah, it's too hard just not racing. That's why this year as well, I've been really hard on myself not to over race, because everyone's like, just to use it as a training run. I can't use a race as a training run. It's like I chose specific ones that was hilly and that was it. But if I had to go do a long run every time in a race, that would tire me out before my actual really big race for the year. I've done it before, and then I feel like when my big races start, I'm like completely tired and I don't feel like I have that energy level and excitement like that a race should have. I want to keep my races special and put them apart from my training run. So it's going to be really hard for me to, when I retire, to like kick in a race and just go, oh, let's go jog this race. So I'm planning different things. I will do like Cape Epic or something like that I have. So I'm training, but I'm doing different stuff.
So retirement is a swear word in your life. We won't use that word in our conversations. So is the goal to break the hearts of the Gerda Steyn supporters, or is the goal just for Irvette van Zyl to win the TotalSports Two Oceans Marathon? I mean, obviously, everybody talks about Gerda, and she's been so brilliant. Is that in your mind, or is it just you've got a race to run, you've got a time you want to set, and if you set that time, you'll be happy at the end of the race, win or come second or third?
I think definitely in 2022, I also had a race plan going in, and I told myself, if I do that, I'll be happy and content. So, okay, unfortunately, I wasn't that happy because in the last 3K, so that hurt quite bad. But seeing the bigger picture, I have a time set that I want to run. Of course, you're going into a race, you always want to win the race. You don't line up and say, oh, I want to come second or third. I want to win the race, but I'm competing against Karpas, who's like, she's like superwoman, actually. So, seeing what she did in Omnium, she's in great shape. But even if she hits the wall, she's a hard competitor to run against. So I don't want to look into her name and like, I always tell myself going into a race, it's just bodies that you're racing. Don't look into a name, their CV and what they have done. It's just on that day, anything can happen. And I think Paula, I can't pronounce his surname, but she showed last year how a race can change. It's like she came out of nowhere and almost came second. So a good athlete in her own perspective. It's just last year was actually, I think she used Two Oceans as a training run, and then she changed, she's racing it in the race that she felt so good. So that just shows how exciting long distance is. Anything can happen on the day. And it's not just Karpas, there's going to be other competitors as well. So you never know. Two Oceans is such a hard course that it's so interesting because anything can happen. So I'm excited about that, knowing I've prepared for it, but there's still that little part of unknown. But guys, I'll be happy if anyone beats me. It's fine that Karpas beats me. But I'm still a competitor. I want to beat her and want to be my best that I can be. And that's the main goal. I know where I'm coming from, and I know how hard this last year has been for me. So for me to get to the start line, injury free, get to that finish line is already for me like a goal reached that I knew a year back was so uncertain. So for me, it's just being my best. Just grateful to being able to run again.
Well, Irvette, if I could leave you with some words of emotional and some motivational thoughts, at least you have experienced what it's like to lose the race in the last 3 kilometers, and you'll know what not to do this time. Gerda hasn't had that advantage.
Yeah, I think she has been quite dominating. Yeah, she's got a lot more to lose. I've lost already a lot. So, seeing in that perspective. But defending a title, you have a different kind of, I think, mindset going into. I know with defending my selected title, there's a lot of pressure, but I think Karpas is good at like using that pressure as pure like just confidence and propelling her forward. But I'm excited about the race, excited to race her, and excited to race the other ladies as well. I think it's going to be a great race, and I hope we're going to keep people like nailed to the TV and like get a lot of excitement to see us race. So I really want people to just be part of the Oceans and see how exciting like an ultra marathon can be. if somebody wins the whole time and everyone's far, it's great. But I think if there's competition and it's really a more interesting race to watch.
Well, all I can say is I've got to show no bias here whatsoever. I've interviewed both you and Gerda. They've both been amazing interviews. And all I can say in conclusion is may the best woman win, because that's the best way to end this podcast. Irvette van Zyl, thank you so very much for chatting to us. We look forward to seeing you at the Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon.
Thank you.
That's today's edition of the Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon. Until next time, bye for now. This podcast of the 2024 Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon was brought to you by Total Sports, the official sponsors of the 2024 Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon.